What does it mean to be the GOAT of basketball? For some, it's rings. To others, it's the ability to be great at both ends of the floor. And for people like Brandon Miller, the GOAT is just whoever they like, even if it's someone who's currently doing better at podcasting than hooping.
No, because I actually don't think LeBron is, the GOAT of basketball. I think my GOAT of basketball is Paul George. I always grew up watching him, so it's never just LeBron.
So while different people have different GOATs and different criteria for reaching that conclusion, one criteria that's often overlooked is impact. Steph's the reason everybody is shooting threes now. Even the WNBA's got more views now, thanks partly to Caitlin Clark's game, which was largely influenced by Curry. He made a dynasty out of a team that was struggling. And now, standing at just 6'3", Curry's got the president of the Big Man Alliance demanding he's mentioned in the GOAT debate.
As the supreme leader of the Big Man Alliance, I demand you fans to start putting Steph Curry in that greatest of all time conversation. Just start putting him in the conversation.
Is Shaq right? Does Steph Curry deserve it? Shaq has said that it hurts that his name doesn't get brought up in the GOAT conversation, so he has always felt there was something wrong about the whole debate. But Shaq's not alone on this, as MJ himself feels that way.
I beg to differ, and I'll give a different analogy to that because, first of all, you're never going to say who's the greatest of all time. To me, I think that's more for PR and more for selling stories and getting hype. Jack and Tiger never played against each other. They never played in the same tournament. They never played with the same equipment. They never played with the same, length of golf course. I never played against Wilt Chamberlain. I never played against, Jerry West. To now say that, one's greater than the other is being a little bit, unfair.
Yeah, the GOAT debate can be unfair, and that's partly because it's exclusionary, and a player can get excluded based on his physique. Take Shaq, for instance. He entered the league as a raw force and was labeled as just big. Of course, his free throw percentage didn't help either, but Shaq caught a lot of flack for his size. And the same is true for Steph Curry, although it's kind of the reverse. No matter how many night-nights with the baby-faced assassin putting giants to bed, he's always going to be thought to be too small.
Thompson back to Curry. Curry a three. He got it. Mark it.
At 6'3" and 185 pounds, Curry doesn't fit the traditional mold of GOAT-level players. He was meant to be on the level of just great players like Allen Iverson or Isaiah Thomas, but that was before Curry transformed the game. Fast forward to the 2012-2013 season. Steph Curry exploded for 54 points in a game against the Knicks. On that night, the chef decided to burn down the entire kitchen.
The Warriors have connected on 14 of the last 16, make that 15 of 17. He's cooking with some hot grease right now.
Curry's scoring wasn't reliant on flashy moves or brute force. Instead, he revolutionized the game with his precision shooting and incredible range. He tore through defenses with step-back threes and off-the-dribble shots that defenders couldn't predict. But you see, that game wasn't just a one-off. It was a turning point. Since that breakout moment in the 2012-13 season, Curry has been a force like never seen before in the NBA.
Enough with the half court. Can we get the three quarters? Can we get the full court? I feel like we're seeing this every night. It's old hat. We need more.
Only because of Steph Curry. You ain't saying that about nobody else, but for Steph Curry, yeah. That's an every night kind of thing capability. Nobody else.
I'm not
the greatest shooter God has ever created.
I'm sort of sick of it, Monica, at all whatsoever.
No, not at all. And I think that is what happens to us by greatness. Joe, you've been in sports for forever. That's how we get spoiled by greatness and somehow we think this is ordinary and mundane. No, this is insane.
In a recent game, he put up 56 points while knocking down 12 threes. At 37, this man still got opponents doubling, even triple teaming him just to contest his long-range shots. In fact, he's in the company of greatness when it comes to players with 50-point games at that age.
List of players with 50-point games. Hold on.
At 30. I got it right here, Joe.
Go ahead.
57 or more at that age.
Not 57 or more.
LeBron.
50 at 37.
50 or 56?
50. Just 50. 50.
Then LeBron, Jordan, Jamal Crawford, Kobe.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
This is partly why Shaq is totally right about Curry's greatness. Most people disagree with that. But why? Seriously, what's Steph missing? And how can we continue to overlook his impact on the game starting from the 2015-2016 season? This is a player that made 402 threes that year, a record so outrageous we thought no one could break it. Only one man managed to do so, and that was him.
Timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! And he ties the NBA record with his 12th three-pointer of the game.
Also in that season, Curry earned unanimous MVP honors, a first in league history. Do you know what that means? This was the 2016 America, and Curry's competition was LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard, yet not a single voter deemed anyone else more valuable. This level of consensus in a nation as divided as 2016 America is wild and unbelievable. This man managed to achieve complete agreement in an era where any type of agreement was rare. This was even more unbelievable than Michael Jordan's 1987-1988 season, where he won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. You see, for a player to achieve unanimity in a divided America, lead a team to a 73-9 record, and redefine basketball all in 1 year, that's the height of crazy. Still, people want to limit Curry to just the best scorer or best shooter in the game, but he's also a winner with 4 rings and a Finals MVP. Plus, his ability to hit clutch shots in the postseason, particularly in Game 7 scenarios, has repeatedly swung series in his team's favor.
Bridges saves it but tosses it to Green. Butler to Curry. Shooting practice. Noah.
Add to that his gold medal from the Olympics, and you see a player who not only dominates the regular season, but also shines on the world stage. But as long as we're talking impact, Curry's biggest accomplishment is the way he changed the game. This man turned every possession into a scoring opportunity, and every NBA team was forced to try to replicate it. The surge in three-point attempts league-wide is proof. In the early 2010s, teams attempted around 22 threes per game on average. By 2018-2019, that number jumped to over 34 per game. Curry's deep range and quick release reshaped spacing and rotation principles. Opponents can no longer pack the paint like before because Curry's game demands defense to be spread thin. Modern defensive dilemmas now revolve around him so much so that Nikola Jokic had to become a coach when Serbia played against the USA during the Olympics.
Ovdje je Kari, kako nam broj ima 4, ovdje je Embiid. Znači on hoće ide ovako i kad pređe drugi ovaj sam može da napravi blok ovome. Znači ja ću ovoga da gurnem ovdje, da ga gurnem i onda ovaj ne da te srola. Zato što on hoće da napravi blok za ovog, znači ne da ga srola, da ovaj može sam da isprasi ovdje.
And needless to say, it didn't work. But that's all just one part of the Steph Curry effect. Teams now rely on speed, shooting, and floor spacing over traditional size and post play. His efficiency from beyond the arc is unmatched. He routinely shoots above 43% from three-point range while taking shots from distances that were once considered off-limits. Now, coaches have to design game plans around neutralizing his shooting, with defenses always having to switch screens and employ perimeter traps. But despite all this, Curry still finds a way. Also because of Curry, there's been a shift in how teams recruit. Prospects with elite shooting skills and quick decision-making are becoming increasingly more valuable. And this change has trickled down to every level of basketball, from the NBA to high school courts and even the WNBA.
If you're not going to minimize it just to shooting,
he is a GOAT.
His accomplishments and his style of play, change the game, influence, like everything that comes with the package of...
I don't know if he officially changed the game, because scoring point guards came from like Gill and them.
From half court, Caitlin Clark.
Gill.
What did Caitlin Clark do to the game? Tell me this, if Steph didn't do this to the game, what did Caitlin Clark do? Where'd she get it from?
Shaq's physique led to some serious scrutiny, and he had to work hard to earn his 4 rings and finals MVPs. So he knows firsthand how size can get in the way of how people perceive your greatness. But beyond that, he's also seen the league move away from the traditional big man style that he exemplified. For years, big men like Shaq ruled with sheer size and strength, gaining points, rebounds, and blocks along the way. But now, Steph Curry has changed all of that. Shaq knows that his own legacy of brute force and physical dominance is fading as teams shift to small ball and spacing. And that's why Shaq doesn't even mind putting Steph ahead of himself.
I'm wondering, is it time to start putting him as the best player of all time?
Best player? Oh, you put him over you?
In the conversation.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
You put him over you.
Oh.
You yourself put Steph Curry over you.
Yeah, this is why he's my favorite player.
I'm not saying favorite. He might be my favorite too, but I'm just asking you, think he's better than you?
I played 20 years, watched 20 years before that. I've never seen a guy like him, and he's doing it consistently, and he has championships.
Like Jordan said, the GOAT debate is unfair because it's exclusionary. With more great players doing great things, staying objective about who's the greatest to ever do it will almost always be impossible. But while only one player can be the greatest of all time, there's absolutely no reason why we can't have multiple players in the conversation. But like Shaq said, what's the criteria and why shouldn't it be impact? If it's impact, then Shaq is totally right, and Curry certainly deserves to be in the GOAT conversations. Besides, Shaq isn't even the kind of guy to give his flowers to just any player, especially if you're someone who's making the big man style of play irrelevant. So if Shaq demands that you see Curry as a GOAT, then maybe it's time we all reevaluate what greatness really means. The game is evolving, and so must our definitions. But what do you think? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, you should also see what Shaq said about Nikola Jokic here.